Hello, today's video, it's a strange one really. There's the thing that I have to get clear from the start. I have no problems with vegetarians or vegans. It makes no difference to me, it's a personal choice. Today's video is about contradictions. One of the main ones that I've seen recently is to do with the new £5 note and it containing tallow, a byproduct from animal fat. Teeny tiny amount has been put into the new £5 notes. I mean, I'm not exactly an expert on making £5 notes, but there's been loads of different news articles about it. I think it was in The Guardian. A cafe, and it's a vegetarian cafe in Cambridge, has basically refused to accept the new £5 note. And I kind of understand from the principled aspect of vegetarian doesn't like exposure to anything that animals have been reduction of. But the fact is, and you can't escape the fact that it is money. She has no right to refuse to accept legal tender from the Bank of England. Everyone who has the right to have that money, i.e. has earned it, I think has the right to spend it wherever they please. Obviously I'm gay. It would be like saying, well, the fight between an Irish bakery and the Catholics that own, and two gay people who wanted to have wedding cake made there. Basically the courts decided in favour of the gay couple because it was discrimination for them to say, because of our religious beliefs we don't want to make a cake. And I think the same thing should be said of people who use the new £5 note. Why should they not be allowed to use their money just because they have no qualms in actually using money that's had meat byproduct in it? And I mean, it's not as though it is made from a steak. It is a tiny bit of the note that is made of it. It is such an odd statement to make. The woman in question has had a lot of negativity from it. This is where I'm coming from with this video. It's a contradiction. She refuses to accept the £5 note because it has tallow in it, but undoubtedly she will have put on deodorant that morning, or undoubtedly she has a cash machine in the shop which has animal byproducts, i.e. different amino acids in it, which are all animal byproducts. If she uses any fabric conditioners, or if she drove to work that morning, tyres include animal byproducts. And the fact is, well, if she's such an ardent supporter of not using anything when it's got minuscule, unidentifiable amounts from animals in it, then surely she shouldn't use tyres, computers, she shouldn't use electricity because that will have come from oil or gas or coal. As a sheer fact, all of these materials are from dead animals or dead trees. So in actual fact, if you go from one extreme of not accepting a new £5 note because it includes like 0.0001% of tallow, then you shouldn't have deodorant, you shouldn't have tyres, a cash machine, computer, she shouldn't have any of these things. The second part of it is that on Twitter, I've seen the same thing. I've seen, oh, it's disgusting that the government hasn't given us the right to choose what's in our £5 notes. How many of you actually care how a £5 note is made? Or is it the fact that you now care because it has animal byproducts in it? What about before? I don't know what the other £5 note was made out of, but what about if that has had animal products in it? What about the whole meat scandal that went on a few years ago with Iceland and all the other supermarkets and stuff with horse meat? Loads of people got really bothered about it containing horse meat. The fact is, you still all eat. It doesn't really work for vegetarians, does it? Because they don't eat meat. The next point that I want to go on to is another contradiction. The guy who actually invented the new £5 note was Professor David Solomon. He's come out and said that he doesn't really believe that there is actually a problem with it containing tallow. And I know that they are changing the £5 note because of like the uproar about it containing a tiny bit of an animal. But the fact is, like I've said before, if these people who were so upset about the tallow in a £5 note were as upset about anything else that contained the same amount or the same percentage of substance from an animal, then they would hardly be able to use anything that they use on a day-to-day basis. I really doubt that these people who want this £5 note changing would give up fabric softener, would give up electricity, would give up using tables, using the cars, would give up using wheels, would give up using coat hangers. And the fact is that if you're not willing to stick by your principles enough to not use any of those other things, why is it that you change the £5 note just because you don't like a tiny bit of animal being in that? I don't understand why you have certain rules for some stuff, but when it gets a bit difficult and actually affects your day-to-day life, then you don't choose to stick by those principles of not using all these other things like I've listed. The fact is, the new £5 note is cheaper to produce, lasts longer, is more practical, and is harder to copy. In the grander scheme of things, because they last longer, we don't have to produce as many, thereby saving the environment. By them being harder to reproduce, it means that we have less corruption. corruption. Corruption in the day-to-day living of my life doesn't affect me that much, but on a national scale, that can only be a good thing. On a practicality basis of being able to put it in the washing machine by accident, my £5 note is not ruined anymore, or dropping it, if you drop it in a puddle then you think, oh right, like dry it off and then go and use it in the supermarket. Surely that is more advantageous than simply just worrying about, oh, it contains a minuscule amount of animal meat. It's so silly that it actually comes to this. People need to stick by what they say, and not to trivialise it, and I'm sorry if I do trivialise it, but the best smartphones, nearly totally vegan friendly, are iPhones. They know how strongly people can feel towards the exploitation of animals. A lot of acids that we use in electronic manufacturing comes from animal stomachs. But these people that will, while typing out their speech about how terrible tallow is and joining campaigns to ban tallow is, they're wearing perfumes or aftershaves that have it in, typing it on a laptop that uses animal products. They're sitting in a house being electrified by the burning of oil. You can't have it both ways. If you have a principle, then you should stick by it. If you don't, you can't expect someone not to pick you up on it. That's what my next video is going to be about, contradiction that I made about YouTube. I was an ardent anti-YouTube person. I didn't understand the point of making videos. I suppose this is the biggest contradiction that I've made. I do now make videos, and that's what I want to really cover in my next video, which I'll probably make tomorrow on it. I guess that's really it for this one. Hope it makes sense to you what I've been saying, and I haven't tried to offend anyone. I do respect people's beliefs, but I only respect beliefs that people actually stick to. You can't believe one thing for one thing, and then when that belief is tested against something you really like, then you can't just give it up. Or if you do, then why should I or anyone else respect your belief on that one thing that you're having the belief on? And I guess that's what I've been wanting to get across. And I hope I have. And I hope it hasn't been too offensive. I don't think I've offended anyone. I hope you guys have stuck around till the end, and I hope you have found it interesting what I've been speaking about. If you have, give thumbs up, and if you really like it, then subscribe. Bye!